No, the point I'm making is that companies need to understand that everything they do in a company affects the prices they can set.
Welcome. We are here at the podcast talking insights of Esomar in Chicago at the Art and Science of Innovation. We are enjoying a very nice conference focused on innovation here in Chicago. And it is my pleasure to come with Pierre Sjofors. I am Joaquim Bretcha, Editor General of Esomar. And Pierre, please, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I'd love to see there's sessions I've been to been really good, and I think this is delivering a tremendous amount of value to not only to the audience that are here, but also to the audience who may be remote, right? My name is Per Sjofors. I'm Swedish from start, but I'm operating out of Los Angeles now, and I have this moniker, the Price Whisperer, and I have actually become one of the world's leading experts in how you price a product for higher sales volume, higher revenue, and higher profitability, right? And it's a process that is based on pricing research, where we have developed our own way of doing that research. We developed our own AI to support the research, which is not customer facing, it's just used internally. And it's a process that works every time, right?
And before getting into this particular process, let's talk about your process of becoming the Price Whisperer.
Oh.
How did you start? Because I understand you started as a macro researcher.
No, not at all. No, the story here is that I ran a company out of Zurich in Switzerland, actually established and run, and I then ran a company out of London. I came to the US to establish and run a division of a fairly large public company, and I consequently had another 4 CEO jobs. In all these instances, we did experiments with pricing. It was something I was interested in, and I knew that pricing per se affects business results more than anything else, right? And some of those experiments worked really very well, meaning that next quarter revenues were up 25% or so, right? Others were complete duds. So when I set out on my own, I decided to develop a process to make every pricing experiment a success. And that process is based on doing online research to a marketplace, which is very important. It's not only customers, it is customers to a company. It is what we call strangers, which are people who never heard of the company. And it's some people who know about the company but haven't bought. So buyers, non-buyers, and strangers. And from that, with great accuracy, understanding what they're willing to pay for, and then consequently understand what drives that willingness to pay. What, excuse me, what marketing features, marketing messages and channels drive a higher willingness to pay. What messages drives a higher willingness to buy. What product features or service features and functions drives a higher willingness to pay and a higher willingness to buy. What sales channels and sales methodologies drives a higher willingness to pay and a higher willingness to buy. How all of this compare the various competitors in a market, right? So, for example, how does NPS of 5 key competitors affect what customers are willing to pay? And then, of course, develop a pricing strategy that often is stratified in some way, but that minimize sales friction and maximize sales volume, revenue, and profits.
So price is a very sensitive variable in the marketing mix. Who is who is your typical customer within a company? Is it marketing? Is it sales? Is it the CEO? Who is? How do you start?
It is the CEO.
It is the CEO.
It is the CEO. We work primarily with mid-market companies. And it is the CEO because the CEO has often been tasked by the board to take the company to the next level. And we have oodles of examples of clients who followed our advice and doubled in size, quadrupled in size, and even more, right? Because when you price for profit the way we teach people how to price for profit, the company gets so much more resource for market development, for product development, even more money to hire better, more expensive people, right? So it elevates the company to the next level.
It makes sense that the CEO has the holistic view of not only sales, but also profit.
Yes.
So, because if it would be maybe another layer of the company, they would just prioritize sales. And
Correct.
therefore, most likely promotions and offers would be the daily option for to boost sales. But I guess this is not the point that you are mentioning.
No, the point I'm making is that companies need to understand that everything they do in a company affects the prices they can set, how they go to market, how they sell, how they differentiate or not from competition, how the actual product meets the needs of the market and so forth, and it becomes something that is really very complex, right? When you look at all the variables that affects what a company can price. And we developed AI software some 15 years ago that we use in my company to analyze all this information that we capture from the marketplace. But that AI creates a tremendous amount of data, right? And data is not actionable. So for that reason, I also have real business people, not data analysts, not career consultants, but actually real business people who review all this data and from that develop actionable, practical recommendations. So jokingly, I'm saying that we have AI squared. We have artificial intelligence, but then we also have actual intelligence.
Actual human intelligence. So just to properly understand, you analyze data from the marketplaces, but you also interact with what you said, buyers, non-buyers, and potential buyers. So you are combining holistic reach of data.
It's all about taking that holistic view. And there's a lot of companies who do price testing, but that looks at price as would it live in a vacuum. And pricing does not live in a vacuum. And can I give you an example?
Yeah, of course.
This company is a recent client. They have these dispensers for purified water that you find outside grocery stores here in the US, right? So people go there with an empty 5-gallon jug and they fill it up and take home. This company came to us and said, we tried to increase our prices 7 years ago and it backfired badly. So we had to go back. Mm-hmm. And then they said, but now we need to increase our prices. And what we found was that with a different set of marketing messages, there were plenty of room to increase price. Marketing messages that better conveyed a emotional value to their clients, right? Now, these companies, the marketing is the actual signage on these dispensers, right? So they changed the signs on the dispensers, they increased their marketing, increased their prices, and in 1 week, they went from a $200 to a $240 million company, right? By pricing research, right?
Okay, so Per, you come from a very international context, no?
Yes,
Originally
very
from
much.
Sweden, and you have been, as you mentioned, Switzerland, London, or UK, and now US.
Yeah.
Would you say that there are different approaches to price strategy if you compare those countries you have been working with?
No, I know that there's a couple of things. Europeans in general are better in pricing to value than US companies. And that is because Europeans have smaller home markets. You have to be more precise, right? That when you price, when you have a smaller market. The US have a huge home market, and winging it is often good enough, right? And that's not good for Europe. The other thing is that if you go to the Far East, for example, certainly in China, there's only two ways of pricing, right? Either dirt cheap or really, really premium. There's kind of no in between, right? I tell you, my conversations with Chinese companies, where I'm trying to tell them that you're not a premium, but you shouldn't price dirt cheap because that sends a message of inferior quality. That's a message that just they don't understand it, because in their culture, nothing can be too cheap, right? Whereas here in the Western world, we often, if we are being presented with something that we think is too cheap, we kind of hold it in our hands physically or metaphysically, and we say, I kind of want to buy this, but at this price, it can't be any good, so I don't, right? That thought does not exist in China.
So we come from, I would say, a couple of decades in which price perception has massively evolved due to internet, online, low cost increase in many countries, from retail to entertainment to flying and traveling and so on. And we come as well from some years in which the Western world has got back to inflation that has been unknown from many, many years and decades. How have you lived these couple of last years in which inflation has impacted so many markets, so many categories, and also has created a sense of loss of perceptions in consumers? Because now, and indeed, if we see at different categories, and we see the increasing price of the housing or hotels, flights, and so on, that has reshaped our baskets. So, how have you lived from your perspective of these changes?
Lots of especially consumer goods companies has taken the opportunity and the well-known understanding of inflation to increase their prices more than what is necessary to cover of inflation. And in some cases, they've increased their prices so high over and above inflation that their buyers are saying, no, I won't buy, right? And here in the States, you have the auto industry as an example, right? Prices of cars have gone up with quite a lot. I don't know exactly, but during the inflation, with maybe 35%, right? And they now face this problem with very rapidly increasing inventory, because fewer and fewer people are willing to spend 30% more today for the same car they could get cheaper 3 years ago, right? So some of these companies they've taken the opportunity a little too far.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they are going to suffer from it. Yeah. Now, having said all that, it is always easier to decrease price than to increase price, right?
But it certainly affects the image, perception
absolutely
of the brand.
Absolutely, of the brand. Yeah, absolutely.
So it can deposition you from where you were before.
Yeah, and if I look at some of the globally leading video and audio streaming companies that we worked with, right? Not recently, but when they started out, right? And I see how poorly they do their price increases, right? They because if you do a price increase, should always be an opportunity to remind your buyers, your subscribers, on all the value you're getting, right? They should say, we are increasing our price because now we have another 10 million songs, right? Or we are increasing the price because now we have another 1,500 TV shows, right? No, they don't. They just send out messages, from next month, your price is going to increase. So they miss that opportunity to deliver a value message together with the price increase, and therefore they lose more subscribers than they should.
Talking about price setting, have you run your own medicine into your services?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have you found a good response?
Yes, we have. We are pricing our services to fit the information that we gathered in these pricing research projects we done on our services. Absolutely.
Okay. And before closing this so interesting interview, I see here you have a book.
I have a book.
Can you talk about this book? That I think you are going to sign this book.
No, I'm not going to sign books.
Okay.
So here's a little thing about value. I'm all about delivering value and back that up with price, right?
Okay.
I often go to these conferencing and networking sessions and stuff like that with a book, right? Because I want to promote the book. I want to promote myself. Mm-hmm. And people say, can I have a copy? And I say, no.
You need to buy it.
You need to buy it because if I give it to you, there's no value, right?
That's right.
That's right. It's going to end. You buy it, you're going to read it, you're going to get loads of information and loads of value on how to drive not only pricing, but marketing and all that good stuff. But if you just get it as a freebie, it ends up on a shelf and you're never going to touch it.
If it's signed, maybe it makes a difference.
If it's signed, yeah, maybe.
If it makes a difference.
Yeah. So,
Per, the Price Whisperer, it's been a real pleasure. I hope you are enjoying this conference. We still have some more to go through.
Yes.
And well, I look forward to following your development of your Price Whisperer.
Thank you so much, and I'm excited about being here, and I hope I can bring value to the audience and to the organization.
I'm sure you are doing that.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.